So for this card, I'm gonna use the Sara Signature Winter's Tale Winter View. And this has got that great window die, the brick embossing folder, and those trees stamps. So we're gonna put that to good use in this window card. So this card is gonna open traditionally. So I'm gonna cut it at 5.5 and score it at 4.25. Okay, that's our card base. We can set it aside. And I'm gonna trim a piece of the luxury red cardstock to match perfectly 4.25 by 5.5. So this red base is gonna end up sitting right on top of our card base. But first I'm going to emboss it and then I'm gonna sand it. So I'm using the embossing folder in the set, just putting in the luxury cardstock, nice and straight, running it through the Gemini, using just the top and the bottom plates. Now we've got that nice chimney brick. Because it's white on the back, it means it's got a white core. So if I take a little bit of sandpaper to the front of this, I can really rough it up. It's gonna give it a little more of a vintage chimney look. Look at the difference. So our window's gonna go on front, so take some time on the edges because that's what you're gonna see. So it still has a bit of that shine, but definitely more antique looking. I like it. All right, let's set that aside for a minute and let's work on our window. So with the other half of my white cardstock, subcut a piece big enough for the window, lay it down on my Gemini plate. I'm just gonna stick it down with some low tack tape, plastic shim, magnetic top plate, and run it through. Now I've got that super cute window frame. So we wanna look through the window, see a little wintry scene. So I'm gonna subcut a piece of gray cardstock to fit just behind that window frame. So it's 4.25 by 3 inches. And I'm just using the gray as though we're looking out on sort of a wintry night. So let's take a little bit of white acrylic paint. I'm just gonna squirt some down on my mat here. I don't need very much at all, tiny little bit. And I'm gonna mix it with a little bit of water. And I'm just gonna make some snowflakes. So with some white acrylic, just kind of tap it down. The randomness of it looks nice. If we didn't add the water, it would be too thick to just tap down. Once it's dry, then we're gonna stamp on it. So I'm gonna use the heat gun because I don't wanna stamp over top of wet paint. Probably want my trees to go pretty much in the center. Looks nice, that little scene, especially looking at it through the window. Now we definitely don't want the window lying flat against the trees. We want it to be standing up a little bit. So I am gonna add some foam adhesive, but before I do that, I wanna add my sentiment to the window because it'll be much harder to stamp after it's already adhered. And I'm just gonna use black again. There. This is the part where it's almost time to assemble it, where you start feeling really excited. Let's give this some dimension. So it really looks like we're looking out a window here. I'm gonna take some of my craft foam and cut it into smaller strips so it can go all around the window pane. So with some tape pen, I'm just gonna get my embossed wall ready for my card front. I'm just gonna use a piece of yarn. I'm gonna put it right around the back of my card and make sure it's stuck down over top. It's just gonna help keep that in place. And then I'm gonna tie my bow right on the bottom here. And for a card like this, using yarn instead of string or twine just keeps it cozy feeling. So with my tape pen, I'm just putting some adhesive on the back of my stamped image. I'm gonna center that up, then come in with my window and just make sure the foam adhesive isn't showing. If it is, you could trim some away. And I'm just gonna put that right on top. I am gonna put just the tiniest bit of glue behind that bow there so it doesn't slide off. Plus that'll allow me to situate the little tails exactly how I want them. This card is really beautiful and really heartwarming. I hope it helps you have more of a handmade Christmas.